Welcome to the Save Childhood podcast with Jennifer McCarville. Because childhood has changed, but children have not. Hey everyone, welcome to the Save Childhood podcast.
I'm Jennifer McCarville.
And I'm Nicole Dugan. And today we are talking about something that seems very simple, but is actually incredibly powerful. And that is reading aloud to children, regardless of their age.
That's right.
Yeah.
Even before they're born and when they're little, and the big one, after they can read themselves. Because I think, we know that's a time where we're often thinking, oh, they can do that now.
Yeah, we're thinking, whew.
Oh, but it's so important to continue reading aloud and to engage with your child through books, because reading is the pathway to learning your whole life.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. What are the benefits of continuing to read to your child even after they can read themselves?
Well, I'm going to say there are so many. I'm going to start what I think is probably the most important benefit is relationship and bonding with your child. That's always, no matter what we're doing, when we have a really strong bonded relationship with our children, that's going to carry them through life. So when you're continuing to read with them, of course, when they're little, they start by hearing your voice to develop that language and literacy, oral language they need, and the cadence and rhythm of language. And then we often read to them naturally when they're little. Some people don't, and you should. Take advantage of your library. Take it, if you just have a few books, read those over and over. But reading to the children and telling them stories as they're little tends to come a little more naturally to us. And it's so important and valuable for laying that foundation. But then as children get older, we tend to think they can do that, and we kind of pull away and let them do that. And that's important too. It's very important for them to read on their own, but nothing replaces reading together. It just bonds you and continues to instill in the children these happy associations, this emotional love of reading. And so that's one of the things that's the thing I would put first, is that relationship, which then spills over into, this feels good, I love this.
Right.
Yeah. And, so some other things are, you then have a shared language in your family. You read something in a book, and then you use those words in your family to mean certain things forever. I've told you before, my children and I read a lot together, even after they could read, of course. But one of the books we read was Friendle. And if you haven't read that book, it's a great book for primary age children and older. So it's a story about how words get in the dictionary. And this boy decides a pen is a friendle. And it's his journey understanding how the dictionaries are created and the words get their place in them. And so, in our family, a pen is a friendle, and we have this like unspoken connection just by saying, can you hand me the friendle? And there's something that takes you back to that time and that bonding place. So really important. It gives you the opportunity to expand their vocabularies. You're always... Well, most of the time, once they're adults, that'll change. But you're always going to be able to read to these younger children, especially at just a little bit higher level of complexity and vocabulary. And they can grasp that. They just aren't able necessarily to read it yet.
Right.
And so you're still expanding their strong reading skills.
And introducing them to different genres.
So important. And we have to kind of push ourselves to do that a lot of times, because I know I tend to fall into the genres that, I'm more comfortable with. So, you may forget to read poetry. You may forget to read nonfiction. You may, that may not be the natural thing, but it definitely will lead you to a broader experience with different genres.
And so knowing what we know about the research and reading aloud to children, even after they can read, one of the teachers at our school, you guys decided to start this tradition in primary, which is grades 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, of a book club. And in this book club, we send a chapter book home.
Correct.
And we encourage the parents to read it to their child and with and to.
Yes.
But to deepen that connection. And then they come to school one night in their pajamas, and we have activities about the book and conversation. And so it's our book club tradition that we've started based on knowing what we know about the research.
Right. And and just in a real genuine, fun way to nurture that continued love of reading. That is the age where they're really becoming strong, independent readers. And so we want to make sure that we are reinforcing at home that it's important you keep reading to your child. So book club has a letter that goes out that explains that. It is an add-on since it's in the evening. It's optional. The children don't have to do it. And but I would say, what percentage of children do you think participate in book club?
99.9.
99.9. There you go. Some of them may not participate simply because they have things scheduled in the evenings and they know that adding one more thing, but really almost all of them participate.
And love it.
Love it.
They love it.
And why wouldn't they? They get to come to school at night in their pajamas. Their teachers are there. They've created these really cool experiences based on the book that they've read. And they do some activities as they arrive, and then they all sit down and the teacher has discussion questions, and she leads a conversation with her group about the book and their thoughts about it. And it's just, like grown-ups do. We read a book in a book club. You sit around, you talk about it. What did you like? What didn't you like?
Yeah, not a quiz, let me see if you comprehended it, but
right.
Who's your favorite character? What did you like about that? Were you surprised by that?
And I think that's so important what you said, that not a quiz, because what's so sad, what we see happening so consistently for children as they get into those older elementary grades and, well, even young elementary grades. I mean, my gosh, even kindergarten, they're reading for proof. They're reading and then they have to prove they read it. It's not about reading for the love of reading. And then it becomes, with our testing, our testing environment, it's about being able to read it through the lens the person who's going to ask you the question perceives the information. And it just takes such joy out of reading consistently. I mean, we've seen it happen in the field all the time. And we don't ever want it to be about, did you answer the question correctly? We want it to be about, you enjoyed the book. What did you gain from it? Were there lessons that you learned? What did you think that character was feeling when? Nobody's singled out. Nobody's, it's not a quiz or a test in any way, because that's not how you nurture a love of learning.
Right.
And reading. When
you Google or search for book clubs or book club activities, what comes up a lot are literature circles. And it's, even with literature circles, you've read a book and you're meeting about it, but everyone has a job to prove they read it. Really, why can't we get rid of that and just focus on organic conversation? As the teacher or adult, we know if they're comprehending it or learning from the book just through a
casual conversation.
Yeah.
Right. And you know what? Here's the thing. Why can't we get rid of it? Well, we can. Right? We actually could.
Save childhood.
Yeah.
Cheers.
So, it's just got that beautiful feel for them. And of course, there's food. There's always food. The children, all of us, we like a little snack.
Yeah.
So it is a really lovely way for them to continue the being read to and giving parents that little remember to read with them. And it's such a joyful time to read with your children most of the time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have some reading narcolepsy. My daughter and I joke about that. I'm so tired in the evenings that's not the best time for us to read. You've got to find the right time to read with your family. Maybe you're reading the book over breakfast in the mornings or over your lunchtime, or maybe evening is the best time for you and it helps you wind down. But I start reading at night and I just fall right asleep. So my daughter said to me when she was in high school, Mom, I was quizzing her on something at night, and you have reading narcolepsy. I was like, that's what it is. So if you have reading narcolepsy in the evening, find another time to read. But do read to your children.
Yes, whether your child is 3 or 8 or 13, pick up a book together, build memories, strengthen your relationship.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think it's not always about a book also.
Oh.
I think reading... back in the olden days, we would read things out of the newspaper to each other. So, just stuff that's lying around. My Nana, my precious Nana, would read to us little stories out of the Reader's Digest. Something she was reading. And so she would say, oh, hey, Jen, let me come listen to this. Or, she'd sit at the table and she'd read a short story to us, or a poem, or, a reading out of the Bible. It should be a book. Every now and then you should have those in your lives, right? It should be a book that you're reading continually, but also reading other things with your children to connect. And,
That's a great point.
But definitely we are a fan of book club for these children. And our children who are in the collective, our 4th through 8th grade homeschool hybrid program, they're really missing book club. So we're working on another opportunity for them to have something as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, because it's just been ingrained in them, in their education and in their homes to really love reading and enjoy talking to each other about the same book.
Yes.
So
love that. Well, that wraps it up for today. Let's keep the conversation going on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok.
All the things.
And join us at savechildhood.org. Join the movement. And new episodes are dropping every Tuesday morning, 6 a.m. And thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you so much. Go find a book to read. Talk to you next time. Bye.
Thanks for joining us today. To learn more and join the movement, go to savechildhood.org.